The remote control for your car. Tap twice. 1, 2.
It's been discovered that the Obama administration sent spies into the Trump campaign. Many believe their intentions were nefarious. Recently, I spoke with spy hunter and former FBI operative Eric O'Neill, who helped take down FBI double agent and Russian spy Robert Hanssen. All right, so you got some little goodies here. What do we have first?
That's right. So if you're on the street and you're trying to catch a spy, or you are a spy, you want to be able to change your appearance really quickly. And one thing you can do is change your face by putting on glasses. And the other thing that these glasses do is they allow me to see 10 feet further. I don't wear glasses, but they're like binoculars.
These are like super zoomed in?
A little bit, right. So if I'm driving and I want to catch a license plate, or I got to see just a little further, they help. The problem is if you wear them too long, you get a bit of a headache.
All right, so those are super duper zoned in glasses that make you be able to see very far distances.
That's right.
And what is this? This is some sort of recording device?
So this little guy right here this is the camera. It's a pinhole camera, and it has an audio recording.
It's like a centimeter big.
Exactly.
That's a camera.
You can literally turn this on, leave it behind, and watch from around the corner down the street on your cell phone and see what's happening in a room, or watch who walks by an intersection, and you're not there. You're completely disappeared. You can also build it into things and use them as leave-behinds.
Oh, leave-behinds. I like that idea.
Yeah, exactly.
So, remember the Russian soccer ball that Vladimir Putin gifted to President Trump? Maybe it had one of those in there.
He could have stuck something in there, although I'm sure that anything that Putin gave Trump, the second they walked out of that room, people were using countermeasures to find out if there was something.
Yeah, there it is. I'm sure they swept that thing hard. All right, so you also have a hat and a jacket. What's the significance there?
Exactly. So one of the best ways to change the profile of your face if you're on the street is to put a hat on.
That's it.
It completely changes the way you are, especially if someone sees you from behind. It changes your profile. So if you put your hat on, then you can pull it low, and now you're not looking at my eyes, and I look different.
Yeah,
right?
you do look a little.
The other thing you could do is use a jacket. And the ones that I like are easy to slip on, easy to take off. They're compressible, so you can put them in a bag or a pocket. And this one's cool because
seems pretty basic.
It reverses.
Oh, reverse.
Right, so now
are these spies that dumb you can really fool them with a little outfit change? Sometimes
the outfit change gives you that 5 seconds to take a turn without being seen that gets you away.
All right, but what can't you change?
The one thing, well, you take a guess. What can't you change?
Your shoes.
What's the one thing? Shoes. Nobody carries around 2 heavy pairs of shoes, especially men. I mean, our shoes are big and heavy, so unless it's flip-flops.
Come over here for a second. All right, so we're going to do something. You said this is how spies exchange information on the street so no one can detect them. What's this move?
Right. So one of the best ways to exchange information, especially if you know you're going to have surveillance and you want to meet your asset, I'm a spy, you're my asset, is called a brush pass. It's a super fast spy maneuver to exchange information, hopefully without being seen. And in a crowded place, it works really well.
All right.
So we're going to try and exchange this.
All right, here we go. You ready? A little brush pass. Yeah. I dropped it! I dropped it! One more time.
All right, ready?
Yeah. I got it. I'd be a terrible asset.
Nice job.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank
you. Up next, last call. Prayers are with all the victims of Hurricane Florence, and we wanted to end tonight's show on an uplifting note. Take a look at this shirtless guy who walked out to an empty street in Myrtle Beach Friday morning, American flag in hand, to stare down Hurricane Florence. When asked why he did it, Lane Pittman's response, "I'm just being free and American." That's all for us tonight. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Justice with Judge Janine is next. And remember, I'm Waters, and this is my world.
Welcome to Justice. I'm Janine Pirro. Thanks for being with us tonight. First, I just want to take a moment to say our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in the path of and affected by Tropical Storm Florence, including my own sister and her husband who lived just outside of Wilmington. To everyone, please stay safe. We'll have an update on the storm at the bottom of the hour. And as always, a big thanks to all of you for once again making justice #1 last weekend and for making liars, leakers, and liberals continue to stay on that old New York Times bestsellers list. We have a big show on deck for you tonight with House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Governor Mike Huckabee, Tom Fitton, Carter Page, to name just a few of the great guests that we have standing by. But first, my open. Now, tonight is more than an open. It's who I am. It's what I know and what I did for over 3 decades as a prosecutor, Superior Court judge, as well as elected district attorney. The way it works is you are innocent until proven guilty. Clear, unambiguous words etched in stone. Why would anyone ignore this truth? Especially the ranking Democrat on Senate Judiciary, Senator Dianne Feinstein, is stunning. But you shouldn't be surprised. The left is committed to the removal of a duly elected president, the destruction of our system of capitalism, and now an all-out assault on our system of justice. To them, you are guilty. Guilty until proven innocent. But no one in all the years I spent in courtrooms has ever been able to prove a negative. So forget the time-honored notions like due process, probable cause, beyond a reasonable doubt, or a jury of your peers. Today, unsupported, uncorroborated, untested words, not facts, are sufficient to convict, not just in the court of public opinion, but in the esteemed, hallowed halls of the United States Senate. Forget the right to counsel, the ability to defend yourself, the right to confront your accuser, or even cross-examine your accuser. Truth in this scheme is nothing more than collateral damage if a Republican is on the receiving end of an anonymous allegation. So, Dianne, let me see if I get this. Another Democrat, a congresswoman from California, no less, forwards a July letter to you containing a completely unsubstantiated claim that Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, while in high school, tried to force himself on another high school student almost 40 years ago. Kavanaugh, for anyone who even cares, has categorically and unequivocally denied the allegation. So, why are we just hearing about this now? Dianne, when you get the letter, what do you do to make sure it's real? That the person is even real? Given the left's penchant to buy fake dossiers, make up facts, and collude with the media to sabotage even the President of the United States, forgive me if I think it's all hogwash. Okay, you say, quote, the individual strongly requested confidentiality, declined to come forward or press the matter further, and I have honored that decision. Dianne, you honored that decision? Did you even speak to this alleged person? Did you meet with her, talk with her, interview her? Did you ask her to meet with others? Did you ask why she said nothing for almost 40 years? And Dianne, why would you wait to even send it to the FBI? Is it because nothing in you and your pack of demon rats, that's what I said, demon rats, aka Democrats, bag of tricks, was working against Kavanaugh? Nothing was working that you were doing, beginning with Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and every unhinged lunatic you could find.
Mr. Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Mr. Chairman.
To serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed.
Regular order. You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman.
I extend a very warm welcome
we have not
to
been
Judge
given
Kavanaugh,
an opportunity to have a meaningful
his wife,
hearing
Ashley,
on this nominee.
Their 2 daughters.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleague, Senator Harris. Mr. Chairman,
Judge
we
Kavanaugh's
received
many law
42,000
clerks
documents that we haven't
and
been able
everyone else
to
joining us
review last
today.
night, and we believe this hearing should be postponed.
This is an American people.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
Directly from Judge Kavanaugh later this afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
And Diane, you've been sitting on this letter for almost 2 months. You let Brett Kavanaugh go through days of Senate hearings, meetings with senators, answer then an additional 263 pages of 1,300 follow-up written questions. And now you want to character assassinate this man who's undergone 6 FBI full-field investigations where no such allegation resembling this anonymous nonsense has ever surfaced? Diane, as the ranking member of the committee interviewing Kavanaugh, how could you possibly let a moment pass without addressing the issue when Kavanaugh was right in front of you and would have had the opportunity to respond? What were you thinking? Are you stupid? Why would you let it go? Let me tell you why you'd let it go, Diane. Because even you didn't believe it. What other reason could there be? Now, I know about women who've been sexually assaulted and the kind of pain they go through. It is different from other crimes. It lingers and rears its head throughout their lives. I have prosecuted on their behalf for decades. And one of the ways that we establish their credibility is with how recent their complaint is. A recent outcry is enormously powerful. An anonymous one almost 40 years later? Not so much, Diane. But silence? I guess I shouldn't be surprised. You bozos in Congress actually had a fund of taxpayers' money, our money, to pay congressional staffers who were victims of sexual misconduct by your coworkers. It's a fund that even you as a woman, a powerful senator, kept quiet about. Whose side are you on? Does it depend on politics? Does it depend on the politics of the accused? Your audacity to destroy and try to destroy a man with impeccable credentials, harm his family, and shift the burden of proof to the accused by alleging one of the most heinous allegations imaginable shows your complete disregard for truth, justice, and the American way. And that's my open. Do you think Dianne Feinstein is a liar, leaker, or liberal, or all three? There's only one way to find out. My new book, New York Times #1 bestseller, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, The Case Against the Anti-Trump Conspiracy. All right, joining me now with reaction to my open and to discuss the vital issue of conservative censorship, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Leader McCarthy, Chairman, thank you very much for being with us. Now, who needs the Constitution or a system of justice when after all these months, after Brett Kavanaugh has been in the public eye and under scrutiny, and Dianne Feinstein, the 11th hour, says, hey, I got this anonymous letter almost 40 years ago. He sexually abused somebody, but we didn't bring it up until just now. What took them so long?
Well, you made the great point, Judge, that she waited till after the hearing. Think about all that time. But this wasn't the only hearing this judge has gone through. Remember, he's gone all the background checks by working in the White House. He's been appointed a judge, so he had to go through there as well. It's never came up. And why would they wait till after? But also remember, Senator Feinstein, her own body person, her driver, we found out, worked for the Chinese government.
You're right.
And we didn't find that out for a couple of years later. So remember what we're dealing with here. This is politics. This is how far this country has split apart. Whereas they would print, just as the New York Times, an anonymous letter without a name. So now they're going forward with this. This is the wrong thing to do by the wrong person. I mean, if you watch that entire hearing, we have one senator who thinks he's Spartacus because he's releasing information that's already been released.
Booker.
I mean, time and time again, they embarrass themselves. And this is not where we're going. We have 3 separate branches of government. This Judge Kavanaugh has been through every scrutiny there possibly has been. I thought the way he handled himself
he was excellent.
with all the uprising, the number of people that would try to break it up and get arrested just to be on television.